I were Joel Rogers, I would be insufferably proud. I wouldn't be able to walk around. My head would be huge.
You know, I sort of think of carbon at this point, would invite you all to think of carbon not just as this another commodity that we'll be willing to let people bribe us to spend, but think of it more like a neurological poison, like mercury. And in the same way that you wouldn't say, okay, if you give us some money, we'll let you expend more mercury into the atmosphere. I wouldn't get too excited about the money aspect of the carbon. You can do everything in the U.S. to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions, and it won't make much of a dent, actually. I hope you all realize that you could eliminate every power plant in America today, and you could stop every car in America. Take out the entire power generation sector, take out all of the transportation sector, and you still wouldn't be anywhere near 80% below 1990 levels. You'd be closer to 60%. You'd be at around 68%. And that's bringing the economy to a complete halt, basically.
So we can take advantage of what may be an extraordinary change of power and an opportunity like 1933 to do big things. We got to go big and we got to go quick. Oh. Either one of you, how do we take advantage of this moment?
Are these things on? Is this on?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, Phil.
If I had the answer, I wouldn't have asked it.
I know. That's why they pay you the big bucks, right?
And by the way, if you can tell me I could have beaten Schwarzenegger, you can add that in.
What?
No, just...
Yeah, right. Well, okay, here's some things we shouldn't do. I don't think we should hold up any investments that we want for success in getting a auction cap trade auction bill on carbon trading through. I think it's going to be complicated, and I don't want to hold it up for that. I think we should invest. We should insist that the next stimulus agenda, if there's going to be another stimulus agenda, but we should be directed toward the sorts of infrastructure investments we're talking about, heavily metro-directed, where I think most of the market is, and we should not be willing to have this, sort of pissant, Democratic-endorsed program of stimulus that's been offered so far. We want big public investments. And what will happen...
Joel, could you comment afterwards how you feel about the stimulus package?
Right, okay. What I fear will happen, especially after the events of the last couple of days, is that we'll have some sort of pathetic rerun of 1993 or the end of 1992, in which people who haven't said that much about investing in America in a serious way during this campaign will be brought back by saying, oh, no, you can't do that. The bond market, won't permit that. Or magically, we've run out of money. The Federal Reserve is in the process of nationalizing the banking industry, and we need all of your cash and savings in order to do that. And I think that the task for the left is to say, not this time. No, we insist. We don't care if you have to hang up the bankers and by their ankles and shake the money out of them, or repeal the Bush tax cuts, do more than repeal the Bush tax cuts, or get something back in America called progressive taxation. We insist on a certain amount, basically $800 or so billion in investment right here in stuff that's going to green the economy and grow jobs. That would be a first thing I would do. I would not go along with anything short than that. Then, how to get up to scale? The problem is going to be, if you really want a movement for this, which is as smart and beautiful and multicolored and ambitious as the best of America, then you've got to do a deal with the building trades and the unions in the cities. You've got to do a deal with the mayors, and you've got to do a deal with the community groups, in which you set up a big trade in which the community groups say, labor, we are going to endorse your standards, but you've got to have different rules on letting us into the clean economy we're going to help you build. And labor's got to, agree to that. And it's politics for jobs, and that's got to be made very explicit, I think, in all of our major metropolitan areas. That's the discussion that I wish was a little bit further along today than it is, but that's the discussion I think is needed to happen. And with the finance community, you know that as well as I, but I think that it is quite possible to get access to private capital for a lot of this stuff. I think we can beat the finance rap on this. I think we can survive in a pay-as-you-go thing, but I do think we need the very basic politics of access to the jobs straight. And then finally, and I'm going on too long, I think you've got to get the people prepared. You know, Vannery says, well, where will Pookie get a job in this, right? What about a guy who's a former gangbanger, he's done a little bit of time, or he's under adult supervision, his reading level is only at the 5th grade level, he can't even pass the laborer's apprenticeship test. You've got to be sure, and this is part of the deal with labor too, you can't overnight make up for 30 years of divestment, of 400 years of racism, 30 years of incredible explosion in incarceration in our major cities, but we have to begin to do that now and hang a big lantern on the fact that that's part of the goal as well. So there's a whole healing thing with labor.